in today's session we'll discuss about one of the new concept called controls. So there are different types of controls in the Power Automate, guys. Let me keep here types of controls. So already we discussed some of the controls when I'm discussing in the previous classes, but let me go and explain again here at a high level whatever we discussed in the previous classes. Now see what are the different types of controls are available is. The first one is under this. The first one we are having here is condition. This condition is just like an if condition, guys. Condition is like it will acts as what? It will acts as like a if condition. First one is condition. Condition is nothing but like if. Second one is switch. Second one is switch control statement. Third one is apply to each. Apply to each. Fourth one is scope. And fifth one is terminate. And finally one more, the sixth one is do until. Finally the sixth one is what? Do until. So these are the different types of controls that are available in the Power Automate. So what is the use of these controls means? These controls are used to build some logics, guys. Basically what we can do with the help of controls, by using these controls we are able to build some logics at the time of creating the flows. At the time of creating the flows, whenever if you want to build any logics, then we can go and use these control statements. So first one we'll discuss here is condition. Condition is just like an if condition, guys. How we will have the if condition in every programming language, in the same way the condition also will works here. So first let me go and discuss about the condition. So in order to go and work with it, let me go and open the Power Automate. make.powerautomate.com. Let me open the Power Automate. Let it open. Fine. Meanwhile, let me go and open the SharePoint. Let me go to the SharePoint. Let me go to the, I think, let me sign in. Let me authenticate. Just 1 second. Fine. Let me open the SharePoint. Try to understand, guys. Let me go to the site called Power Automate Flows. Let me go to the site. Now in this site, I'm having one list called leave approvals. I'm having one list called leave approvals. Let me go to the list. Let me go to the list. Now see in this list, there are some fields is there. Let me go and keep here up to, let me go and remove this HR and let me remove this HR comments. Already we discussed this scenarios, leave approval request. So let me go and explain here how to use this same leave approval request with the help of conditions. So already we discussed it in the same scenario. Let me go and discuss it again, but at a high level we'll discuss here. So first of all, let me go and remove these two columns. Let me go to the site settings. Let me remove the HR column. I don't want to go with the HR column now. Just I don't want to go and make it as complex. So just go to the HR, delete it. Next, HR comments. Let me delete this field also. Let me remove those two columns. Now let me go to the leaves. Now see, this is the list I'm having. Still it is not updated. Let me refresh it. Still it is, yes, now it is gone. Now try to understand what are the columns I'm having here. Leave type, description, from date, to date, status, and manager. So I'm having one item here. Let me go and remove this. Let me go and remove this item. Now I'm having one list here, guys. The list name is leave approvals. Now see, I'm going to use this list to work with this condition, like if condition. So condition is nothing but like an if. Now let me show you how to go and work with it. So let me go to the power automate. Let me go and create. Let me go to the create. I want to create one automated cloud flow. So let me go and select the automated cloud flow. Let me keep here. Let me keep it as controls. I'm going to check the controls here. Now, when an item is created, in the SharePoint, let me select the trigger. What's the trigger? Whenever the item is created in the SharePoint list, I want to run this flow. So go and select what? When an item is created. So when an item is created in the SharePoint, so what I want to do here is, let us say that means item is created means the employee is submitting the leave request to the manager. So I need to approve it. I want to send one approval request to the manager. So first let me go and select the site address. To which site I want to connect. Power Automate flows. What is the list name? Leave approvals is the list name. So once the record is created, now what's my requirement here is I want to send one approval, guys. Let me go and take the approval. So go and select this one. Start and wait for an approval. Already we discussed this. So here pass the approval type. Let me select the approval type as first to respond. Next here you need to go and select the title. Let me keep the title as description. Assign to whom? Manager value. Whoever the employee is selecting as a manager, to that manager I want to send the leave request. So I want to send one leave approval process. So once after this, now let me go and add one new step, guys. So what is the new step I'm adding here? So the outcome, or let me go with this. Now here I need to go and add the condition. So I need to go and use this condition now. I want one of the control. Let me go and type here what? Controls. Now if you see, if I type here controls, it will list out all the controls in here. So whatever the controls I mentioned here, condition, switch, apply to each, scope, terminate, and do until. These are different types of controls available. See, condition, first one condition, next one is switch, apply to each, scope, terminate, and do until. These are called as controls in the Power Automate. So I want to select what now? Condition. So condition is just like an if condition, guys. So just select the condition. Now see, I want to define the condition here. What's my condition? If the outcome of the previous step, what's the previous step? Approval process. The outcome of the previous step. The outcome of the previous step is equals to approve, is equals to approve. Then what I want to do here is I need to go and update the data in the SharePoint list, guys. If it is updated, if it is approved, then go and update an item. Update item in the SharePoint. I want to update an item in the SharePoint. So just go and select what? Update item in the SharePoint. So in which site you want to update the data? Let me go and select the site as Power Automate Flows. What's the list name? List name is leave approvals. Next, what is the ID? Go and select the unique ID, guys. Go and select this. When an item is created, which item is created, that item details I want to update here. So what I want to update? I want to update the status. What is the status? Let me update the status to approve. Let me update the status to what? Approve. So by default it is submitted. Once the manager is approved, then I want to go and update the item to approved. Manager values, I want to keep here the manager values as not manager values, manager comments. Let me go and keep the manager comments as start and wait for an approval outcome. Whatever the outcome we are going to get, that one I want to, or not outcome. I think something is there. Responses comments, guys. I want to keep your responses. Whoever is responding, manager is responding to the approval. So whatever the comments he is providing, that comments I want to update it here. So let me go and select the responses comments. So whenever I added the responses comment, it is applying one loop here, apply to each loop. I will explain you guys when to go and use it. Next, if the employee is not approved, this is the condition. If this condition is true, go for this. If the condition is false, then go for this. So if the condition is false, then what I want to do? Same I want to perform. I want to update the data, update the items in the SharePoint, update an item in the SharePoint. Now I want to update what? I want to update the status to reject. So select the flow, site name, and then list name, and then go and select here the ID. Next, go and update the status. What is the status I want to update here, guys? I want to update the status to rejected. Rejected means if the employee is not equals to approve. If it is equals to approve, then go and perform this operation. If it is not equals to approve, then go and perform this operation. So if it is not approved, then that means rejected. I want to reject here, and let me go and keep the manager comments. So let me go and select here responses comments. Whatever the comments the manager is giving, I want to keep it here. So this is what the if condition I'm using here, guys. So if this condition, whatever the second step is there, if the manager is approved, if the previous step, the outcome of the previous step is equals to approve, then what I want to perform. If it is yes, condition, this is condition. So this is called as condition. If it is yes, then what I want to perform. If it is no, this condition is not true. If the condition is false, then I want to perform this. So let me go and run this flow. Let me check what happens, guys. Let me save it, save the flow and run the flow. Your flow is ready. Now test it. Test the flow for the first time manually. I think there are a lot of flows is there. Before going to run, we need to stop those flows, guys. First of all, let me stop all those flows. There are a lot of flows we created already on the same list. So let me turn off those flows. Whatever the automated flows is there, let me turn off all those flows. Multi-level approval, everything I'm turning off. Let me turn off this. Try to turn off all the remaining flows because you will get confused. You are not able to understand which flow is running, which flow is not working. So I'm turning off the previous flows. So I'm activate only one flow, that is what controls. Now go to the flows here. Go to this. Switch to the old designer. Now the flow is ready. I want to test it now. Let me test the flow for the first time manually. Now I'm entering some data, guys. Whenever the item is created, then only I want to run the flow. So let me go and enter some data. Leave type I'm selecting here is casual leave. Description I'm keeping here is, let us take festival. From date, from which date I want to take the leave. Let's say I'm going to take the leave from today. How many days I'm going to take the leave? Let us take from date and to date. Let's say I'm taking the leave for 2 days. Next, status. By default, I want to keep the status as submitted. Once the employee is submitted, the request, it will be status is submitted. Now select the manager. I'm selecting the manager as user 36. I'm selecting the manager as what? Whom? User 36. So let me go and create this record, guys. Now click on exit in grid view. And I click on exit in grid view. Now the record is created. Whenever the record is created, now the flow need to run. Now see, the flow will run here, guys. Now the flow, your flow is running now. Now the flow is waiting for the approval. Now see, the flow is waiting for the approval. Now I need to go and approve it. Now if you want to approve, go to this, go to the approvals, go to the approvals, click on this new tab, go to the approvals. Now under the approvals, I'm able to see one new request, case. What is that description? Festival. So leave request is there. Now I want to approve or reject it. Let us say I'm approving it. So click on what? Tick mark. I want to approve the leave request. So type is what? Choose the response, whether you want to approve, reject, or reassign. Approve. So what is the comment? Let me keep it as festival, right? Let me keep here your leave request has been approved. Your leave request is approved. So I'm just keeping some comments here. Now click on confirm. I'm going to approve it. Until and unless we'll approve, it will be here only, guys. Now once it is approved, now see, once it is approved, it is performing the actions. The outcome of the previous step, now see, the outcome of the previous step is what? True. If it is true, what need to perform? It is needs to perform. See, here it is tick mark, but here it is into mark. This flow is not running here. Yes, flow. When I go to this apply to each, here it is updating the data first. So it is going to update the data. So what is the description I'm keeping here? Festival. So if you scroll down, you can go and see the status. And if you go to the SharePoint also, in the SharePoint also the status is updated to approve. So this is what is meant by condition, guys. When to go and use the conditions. So if there is any true or false, if you want to if you want to check the previous step whether it is true, you want to perform some actions. If it is false, you need to go and perform some other actions. So in these cases, you need to go and use the condition. And next one is switch. Now when to go with the switch means, if you have more than two conditions, see here I'm having only one condition, guys. If this condition is true, what I want to perform. If this condition is false, then what I want to perform. If I have only one, if you have more than one condition, let's say if you want to define more than one conditions, then in this case go and use what? Switch control. Or switch control you need to go and use. When to go and use the switch control is, go to the SharePoint. Let me go to the students. Let me go to the students. Now see, now if you understand here, let me go and remove the complete data in this list. First of all, I'm having one list here. What is the list? Student number, student name, mobile number, email ID, and a course. Now see, if the student is if the student is uh, if one new student is inquired for a new course, case, let us take this is an inquiries list. One student is new inquired. If the student is inquired for the power apps, if the student is inquired for the power apps, I need to send one email to the trainer who is teaching the power apps. If the student is inquired for the power apps, I need to go and send one email to myself when he is the trainer. If the student is inquired for the Power BI, I need to go and send one email to the Sunil Kumar. I want to send one email to the Sunil. Sunil is the trainer for Power BI. If some other student is inquiring for the SQL Server course, I want to send the email to again myself. I am teaching the SQL. If some other student is inquired for the ADF, Azure Data Factory, so I want to send one email to the Sesi. Sesi is the trainer who is teaching the ADF. So there are different courses is there, and then different trainers is available. So whenever if you enter the new student details, if the student is if the course is you are keeping here Power Apps, if the student is inquired for the Power Apps, then I want to send one email to the Winky. What is that email? One student is inquired for the Power Apps. What is the student name? What is that email ID of the student? I want to mention. If the student is inquired for the Power BI, if the course is Power BI, then I want to send the email to the Sunil. If the student is inquired for the course, I want to send the email to the Winky. If the student is inquired for the course ADF, if he enter the course as ADF, I need to send one email to Sissy. So this is what I want to perform, guys. So here I want to define the multiple conditions. Previously here I'm having only one condition, true or false. If it is true, what I want to perform. If it is false, what I want to perform. But here I want to define multiple conditions. So whenever if you want to define the multiple conditions, then in this case, go and use what? Switch control statement. Whenever if you have only one condition, go with the condition, if condition. If you have more than one conditions, then go with what? Switch. Now let me show you how to go and work with the switch case. Let me delete this step. Let me go and delete this step also. Now see, when an item is created, where, let me remove this one also. Let me go and select the trigger now. When an item is created, where? In the SharePoint. When an item is created in the SharePoint. Now what's the site? Let me go and select the site. Power Automate flows. What's the list name? Students is the list name. Students is the list name. When an item is created, then what I want to do? I want to go and use the switch case statement here. Switch statement. So go and use the controls. Under the controls, let me go and select what now? I'm going to select the control as switch control. So select the switch control. Now see, here it is asking that choose a value based on what condition you want to run this switch. So let me go and select here. In the previous step is what? Create an item. When an item is created, I want to take from that item, I want to take what? I want to take the course. I want to take what? course I want to take care, guys. If the course is equals to whatever the course I am entering into the SharePoint list, if the course is equals to Power Apps, if the course is equals to Power Apps, so if the student is inquiring for the Power Apps, then what I want to perform, what is the action I need to go and take? I need to send an email. Send an email. To whom I want to send the email? I want to send the email for the trainer who is teaching the Power Apps. So to whom I want to send means I'm keeping here my email ID, guys. I'm keeping here my email ID. So whenever the student is inquiring for the Power Apps, if the course is equals to Power Apps, then I want to receive an email. So what is that email? New inquiry for Power Apps. New inquiry for Power Apps. Now what is the text I want to keep here? Hi Venki. Hi Venki. One new student. New student with the name. What is the name? I want to select the name, guys. Whoever the student is entered, that student name I want to capture and place it here. New student with the name, whatever the name it is. New student with the name. Let us take student name is Sai. New student with the name. Let me keep here. With the name Sai is inquired. Is inquired for Power Apps course. For Power Apps course. Next, I want to mention here what is the student mobile number. I'm having the student mobile number. I need to mention that student mobile number here, guys. I need to go and mention the student mobile number. Whatever the mobile number I'm entering here, I want to capture that mobile number. I want to mention it here. And also I want to capture the student email ID. Whatever the email ID the student is providing, I want to keep that email ID here. Why? Because I want to make everything available for the trainer. So go and select what email ID. So which student is inquired, that student name I want to capture here. Which student, whatever the student inquired, that mobile number I want to keep it here, and that student email ID I want to keep it here. Next, thanks AB trainings. From where I am getting this message means from the AB trainings I am getting. So this is what, guys, when I want to run this, when the course is equals to Power Apps. Suppose if the course is equals to Power BI, then I want to send one email to whom? Sunil. So go and click on this add action, guys. Add a case. When I go on see here, if you see add a case, so I want to add another case. What's that case? Case 2. What's my case 2? If the course is equals to Power BI, then what I want to do here, also I want to perform the same actions. I want to send an email to the employee, not this one, or send an email to the trainer. Who is the trainer? Let me select here. Send an email from the Outlook. To whom you want to send, guys? I want to send it to Sunil Kumar. Let me check what is the email ID. This is the email ID. Just copy it. Now go to the Power Automate. I want to send to this trainer. This is the email ID of the trainer. Next, let me go and keep here the subject. What's the subject? Same subject. New inquiry for Power BI. Instead of Power Apps, I'm keeping here what? Power BI. So let me go and keep here the subject, guys. What is the body? Same. What is the I'm keeping here? The same I want to keep here. So hi Sunil. Hi Sunil. There is one student with the student name. I want to keep the student name here. Go and select the student name and also keep that student name in the bold. And whatever the mobile number, let me remove this and add the mobile number again. Let me remove the email. Let me go and add it again. Now I want to send the which student is inquired for the Power Apps. That student details I want to send it to trainer Sunil. I want to add another case. If the student is inquired for the SQL, let me go and add another case. If the student is inquired for the SQL server, if the course is equals to SQL server, then what I want to do? I want to send another email to whom? So who is teaching the SQL means myself, but I'm going to give another email ID. Send an email. Send an email from the Outlook. So to whom I want to send? Let's say I want to send it now Venki Challa 2004 at the rate gmail.com. So whoever is inquired for the SQL, I want to send an email to this trainer. So what is the subject? Same subject. Just copy from here, paste it here. Now, but for the what is the course name here? The course name is SQL Server. The course name is SQL Server. And what's the body? Same body, guys. Let me copy and paste. Hi Venki. Hi Venki. A student with the name. A student with the name. Whatever the name of that student, whoever it is inquired. A student with the name is inquired for the. Here I need to change it to Power BI. For the Power BI course. Here I need to change it to what? For the SQL Server course. For the SQL Server course. And whatever the mobile number the student is inquired, I want to keep that student mobile number here. And whatever the email ID that student is inquired, I want to keep that email ID of that student here. So like this, I'm going to send, guys. So I'm keeping only 3 conditions here. If you want to go and add another condition for, you can go and add the multiple conditions like this. So just go and save the flow now. So this is what the flow I am creating. Simple flow, nothing is there. If you observe here what I am doing, it's too small. Whenever the item is created, go and check the course. If the course is equals to Power Apps, then go and send one email to Power Apps trainer. If the course is equals to Power BI, then go and send that one email to Power BI trainer. If the course is equals to SQL, then go and send one email to the SQL trainer. That's what I'm doing here, guys. So I'm having the multiple conditions here. I'm having the multiple conditions. So just go and save the flow, save it. Now test the flow. For the first time, test the flow manually. Click on test. Now let me go and enter some student details, guys. I want to go and enter some student details here. Student ID is 101. Student name, let me keep here Warner. Student mobile number, let me pass some random mobile number. Email ID, let me pass some random email ID. Course, what's the course I'm entering here? Let me enter the course as I have only Power BI. Let me enter the course as SQL Server or Power Apps. I think it doesn't allow. It is a choice column. So let me go and save it. Yes, it is inserted. Now the record is inserted. Let me go to the flow. Let me check whether the flow is running or not. Now see, your flow runs successfully. If you check here when an item is created, go to the switch. Now if you check, case 1 is in the tick mark, guys. Case 1 is only green, but case 2 is not performing any actions. Case 3 also is not performing any actions. So why? Because case 1 is nothing but what? Power Apps. So let me go and check my email ID, guys. If I go to the email, now see, I'm receiving one email. So what is that email? New inquiry for Power Apps. Hi Venki, a new student with the name. What is the name of that employee? Inquired. Warner is inquired for the Power Apps course. This is the mobile number of that student. This is the email ID of that student. Directly, if I can contact to the student here by this mobile number, I can send one email to the student through this by using this email ID. So if you go to this flow also, you can easily identify, guys, which flow is running. Power Apps, Power BI and SQL Server cases are not running here. So let me go and click on edit it. You can go and rename this. You can go and rename this. Let me rename this to Power Apps. Let me rename this to Power BI, and then let me rename this one to SQL Server, SQL Server. So I'm renaming them. Now save the flow. Now try to understand. Now I'm going to give the course as SQL Server, guys. Now test the flow. Your flow is ready. Now test it. Now I'm going to enter one of the news, another one more student details. Student ID is equals to 102. Name is equals to Smith. Mobile number. Let me pass some mobile number. Let me pass some email ID. Let me pass the course. I'm passing the course as SQL Server. Let me save it. Now the record is inserted. If the record is inserted, now go to the flow. Now see, the flow is running here now. Just wait. It will, the flow will run. Your flow runs successfully. Now see, when I go to this, Power Apps, it is not running. Power BI, it is also not running. Why? Because the course I am entering here is what? SQL. So if the course is SQL, then see, it is there in the tick mark. For SQL, it is there in the tick mark. Now let me go and log in with the Winky Chella 2004. When I go and log in with Winky 2004, now I'm receiving one email. Now see, hi Winky, new student with inquired with the name Smith is inquired for the SQL Server course. What's the mobile number and email ID? So through this, by using these details, I'm able to contact with the students. I can provide some information to that student. So like this, whenever if you have the multiple conditions like this, then in this case, go and use what? Switch case. If you have only one condition, go and use the if statement, if conditions. If you have multiple conditions, go and use what? Switch. Now see, here itself in the switch, I'm going to discuss one more operator, that is terminate. So here in the switch itself, I need to go and discuss one more operator, that is what? Terminate. Now what is the use of this terminate is? Let me go and keep here. What is the functionality of this terminate is? It terminate a control statement. It is used to stop the running flow, guys. Let me keep here. It is used to stop the running flow. If the flow is running, if you want to stop that flow in middle, let's say I'm having one flow here. This is my flow. I am running this flow. I want to stop this flow in the middle. So when I can go and stop this flow in the middle means, let me give one scenario here, guys. When to go and use this terminate means, first of all, it is used to stop the flow. So when to go and stop it? What is the scenario? There are multiple scenarios is there. For now, let me go and give the scenario here. Let us say, if you go and observe here, the course is equals to Power BI, or if the course is equals to Power Apps, then I want to perform these actions. If the course is equals to Power BI, then I want to perform these actions. If the course is equals to SQL, then I want to perform these actions. So other than these three courses, other than Power Apps, Power BI, and SQL Server, other than these three courses, if anybody, if any student, or if I am not entering the valid course other than these three courses, I am entering some other course. Let us say the user is not passing the valid inputs case. As I am the user, I am not entering the valid inputs. The courses I want to enter here is, I want to enter any one of these courses, but I am not entering any one of these courses. I am entering some other different values. So that values is not there in my flow. So if the user is not entering the valid inputs, if the user is not passing the valid inputs, so in this case, I need to go and stop the flow. So if this three conditions is not true, if the course is not equals to Power Apps, Power BI, and SQL, that means the user is not entering the valid inputs. The user is not passing the valid inputs, guys. So if the user is not passing the valid inputs, then what I want to do here? So go and take the action. What is the action I want to take? So let me go to the controls now. Under the controls, I'm going to take one action here. What's that action is? Terminate. Go and select the terminate case. Now when I go and use the terminate here, now in the terminate, now see, first one is status, second one is code, third one is message. So what is the status? So whether you want to fail the flow, whether you want to fail the flow, whether you want to cancel that flow, whether you want to succeed that flow. I want to stop that flow. Here I said that terminate is used for what? Terminate is used to stop the flow. You want to stop the flow, what? You want to stop the flow as a failure flow. You want to stop that flow as a cancelled. If you want to stop that flow as a succeeded. So you can stop that flow in different ways. So I want to cancel this flow. Okay, you can go with cancel or you can go with failed. If I go with failed, you need to pass here the two parameters here code. So there are different error codes will be there, guys. No need to go and mug up all those. There are different error codes will be there. If you know any error code, go and mention here, otherwise leave it. Or if you want to keep any message here, you can go and keep here, guys. When I need to go and stop this flow, whenever the user is not passing valid inputs, so let me enter some message here. Please pass the valid inputs. Please pass the valid inputs. If the user is not passing valid inputs, then I want to stop the flow. So you can stop the flow as a failure. As a failure, you can stop the flow, or otherwise you can stop the same flow as a cancelled. I want to cancel the flow. If I want to cancel the flow, no need to go and pass the message. No need to go and pass the error code, guys. And if you want to stop that flow as a succeed, you can stop that flow as a succeed. So for now, if you go with the failure, you need to pass two parameters here, code and message. No need to mention this. These two are not mandatory fields. So if you don't know the code, it's not a matter. But you can pass some message here. Please pass the valid inputs. So I want to fail this flow, guys. So let me go and save it. So if the user is not passing any one of these three valids, three courses names, that means the user is not entering the valid inputs. If the user is not entering the valid inputs, I want to stop the flow. I don't want to run this flow. So just go and save it. Click on test. Click on run. Let me go and enter some data. Edit in grid view. 103. Name is equals to Scott. Let me enter some random mobile number. Scott at gmail.com. Next course. Let's say I'm entering the course here, some ADF case. Some random number I'm entering here. Now just go and save it. I'm saving the flow. Now go to the flow here. I'm saving that record. Now the course is not equals to Power Apps, Power BI and SQL. I'm not entering the valid. Now see, it is giving that the flow is failed. Flow run failed. Why the flow is failed? If you go to this switch, it is not running the switch. Why? The flow is not having the valid inputs. So if you go to the flows, if you go and check the history, run history, here you can see it. 3 times it is succeeded, last time it is failed. Why it is failed means because the user is not passing valid inputs here. If the user is passing the valid inputs, then only go and run that flow based on the user inputs. If the user is not entering any valid inputs, if he is not entering valid inputs, then I want to stop the flow in middle. So you can cancel the flow, or you can fail the flow, or you can succeed at the flow. I am failing that flow here, guys. I want to stop this flow as a what? Failure. So instead of going and keeping here as a failure, you can go and change it to succeed. You can go and change it to what? uh, Let me go to this. You can go and keep the failure as succeed or cancel. Let us say I'm canceling this. So whenever the user is not entering the valid inputs, I want to cancel the flow. Your flow is cancelled. Why? You are not entering the valid inputs. So go and test it. Test the flow. Let me go and insert some more records. Employee is equals to 104. Student number. Student name is equals to Finch. Now let me check. Finch. Some random mobile number. Let me enter some dummy codes. Let me go and click on save. Let me go to the flow. Let me check. Now see here, guys. Now the flow will be cancelled. Why? I am the user. I am not entering the valid inputs in the SharePoint. So if you are not entering the valid inputs, then automatically your flow will be cancelled. It is not going to be run. Now it is asking us to see it is working items in the SharePoint list. Let me go to the flow. Let me go and check the run history. Now see, the flow is cancelled. Your flow is cancelled. Why? You are not entering the valid inputs. So when to go and use this terminate action means, terminate control means, terminate, it is used to stop the running flow. You can stop the running flow as a failure, or you can stop the running flow as a cancel, or you can stop the running flow as a succeed, or you can stop the running flow as what? Succeed. So these are the terminate actions you can go and perform. So this is what the terminate. And next one we are going to discuss is apply to each. Now what is this apply to each case? Now when to go and use this apply to each is, let us say, let me go to the flow. Let me go to this flow. Let me go and click on edit. Now try to understand, whenever the item is created in this SharePoint list, not an item. So let me do one thing. So what is the scenario I'm going to keep for the apply to each means? What is the scenario for this apply to each means? First of all, apply to each is nothing but it will go and apply to each and every row in that list case. Whatever the flow you are running, that flow will be applicable to all the rows in that list. So what is the scenario here is, let me go and remove this one. Let me go and remove this step. Let me go and remove this step also. Now I'm going to take one scenario here. Let's say I'm getting the items, get items. Get the items from where? SharePoint. Let me go and select the SharePoint data source as a SharePoint. Let me select the trigger now. When an item is not items, get items. There is no get items. Let me do one thing. Go back. Save it. Let me go and create one new flow. I think not an automated flow. Here we need to go and take one scheduled flow, guys. Let me go and take the scheduled flow here. Or let me go and take the instant flows. Let me go and take the instant flows. So here I'm going to discuss about what? Apply to each. Apply to each. So let me select the manually trigger a flow. So in this, first step I'm doing here is get items. Get items. From where I want to get the items? I want to get the items from the SharePoint. Get items from the SharePoint list. Get items. Now see, pass the address. What's the site address? I want to get the items from the Power Automate flows. What's the list name? Students is my list name. Students is my list name. So whatever the data is there in the students list, I want to bring that complete data into Power Automate. Now once after connecting to the SharePoint list, now what I want to do here is I want to send the emails to each and every student in this list, guys. Now see, I'm not having the valid email IDs. Let me enter some valid email IDs here. Let me enter the email ID as Venki Challa 1995@gmail.com. Let me go and enter here AB Trainings Hub @gmail.com. Let me enter here 2004. Let me go and enter here another email ID AB Trainings Hub 4. So like this, I'm going to enter some data, guys. Let me change the names also here. Let me keep it here Venki. Let me keep it here something like Sunil. Let me enter here Venkatesh. Let me enter here something like Sesi. So I'm entering some data here, guys. I'm just modifying it. So whether we don't have the valid email IDs to work with this apply to each, I need to have the valid email IDs here because I need to send the emails. Just go and click on save. Now here, guys, whoever the students details is there in the list, for each and every student, I want to send the email at a time. At a time, I want to send the same email to all the students. So I need to go and use what here is apply to each. So I want to go for each and every row in the SharePoint list. I want to apply the same operation for all the rows in the SharePoint list. So go and select what here. Go and select the apply to each case. First of all, let me go to the controls. Go to the controls. If I go to the controls, there is one control called apply to each. You can select the apply to each here, and then this apply to each asking us to pass the select an output from the previous step. From the previous step, I need to select one value. So go and select that value here, guys. List of items. Go and select here the values, and then in this apply to each, I want to send the email. So I'm going to apply to each case, each and every item in the SharePoint list. I want to perform one action. What's that action? Send an email to the student. Send an email. So go and send one email to that student. So to whom I want to send, guys? I want to send the email to all the students, those whoever is there in the employees list or students list. What's the subject? Thanks for inquiring. Which course the student is inquired? I want to mention the course name here. Thanks for inquiring. Which course the student is inquired? Hi. Let me select the student name here. Hi, whatever the student it is, I want to mention the student name here. Hi student. Hi Winky. Thanks for inquiring. Thanks for inquiring. Uh, which course the student is inquired? That course I want to mention here. Thanks for inquiring. Which course the student is inquired? Thanks for inquiring Power Apps course or Power BI course. Thanks for inquiring the Power Apps course. Let me keep here. Thanks. AB trainings. Thanks AB trainings. So just I want to send this message, guys. To whom I want to send? Whoever the students data is there in this list. For each and every student, I want to send the same email. So just go and send it. So this is the scenario. Whenever if you want to perform the same operation or same action for all the data for each and every row in the list, then in this case, go and select what? Apply to each. Now you can go and save it. You can go and save this. Save the flow and run the flow now. Test it. Test it for the first time manually. Test the flow. Now click on continue. Click on run flow. Now click on done. Now see, your flow is running. Now the flow is sending the emails applied to each. It will goes for each and every row and it will check. It will take the email ID and it will send that email. So it is done. So it is done. Now let me go to my email, guys. Let me go and log into this my email. Venki Challa. It is 2004. No, 1995. Now see, when I go to this, I'm getting that email. Hi Venki, thanks for inquiring Power Apps course. Which course I'm inquiring here? Venki is inquiring for which course? Power Apps. If I go to the if I log in with Venki Challa 2004, Venki Challa 2004 is inquired for which course? He is inquired for ADF. So if I go and check here the email, now see, hi Venkateshwarlu, thanks for inquiring ADF course. And if I go and what is the another email? AB Trainings Hub. What is the name? Sunil. What is the course he is looking for? SQL Server course. If I go and log in, with AB Trainings Hub, now see, he is also receives one email here. So what is that email? Hi Sunil, thanks for inquiring SQL Server course. So like this, whenever if you want to send one action, send the same action or perform the same action for all the rows in the SharePoint list, then in this case you can go and use the apply to each. So this is what the apply to each case. So if you can go and use the apply to each by default, or let me do one thing, guys. I'm just removing this step. I'm just removing it. I'm going to add one new step. I'm not adding the apply to each now. Directly I want to send the email. Directly I want to do what? I want to send an email. Send the email to whom? To all the students. Still now see, it is not applying to apply to each. I want to send the email to all the students in the SharePoint list. So I can select the email ID as column list. Now, whenever I select the email ID, now see, automatically it is applying to it is adding one step here. What is that step it is adding? Apply to each. So if you want to add it manually, you can go and add it. Otherwise, if there is in the flow, if there is anywhere you are using sending the, if you are performing the same operation for all the rows in the SharePoint list, automatically Power Automate itself will add one step. What is that step? Apply to each. So when to go and use this apply to each means whenever if you want to send that's whenever if you want to perform the same action for all the rows in the SharePoint list, then go and use the apply to each. And next one is what scope, guys. Now what is this scope means? What is this scope is? What is meant by this scope is? It is used to it is used to group it is used to group the multiple actions together. It is used to group the multiple actions together. So if there is one flow, guys, if you have one flow, where you have the multiple actions, where you are performing the multiple actions, so your flow will be lengthy. Your flow looks very lengthy. So in this case, what we can do, you can group the actions together. What is the use of the scope means? It is used to group the multiple actions together. If you go and see here, not this flow, let me go to the another flow. Stop this flow here, turn off this flow. Let me stop this control also. Let me turn off this flow. Let me go and enable one flow here. What is that flow is? Multi-level approval, guys. Let me go and enable this flow. So let me go to this flow, turn on this flow. When I go to this flow, multi-level approval. If you see in this flow, I'm performing some lot of actions. So start and wait for an approval. First condition, if the employee is approved, then I want to perform these operations. So in this also update the data to what? If the manager is if the manager is approved, then I want to update the status to what? Waiting for HR approval. Next, I am adding the apply to each. In this apply to each also, I'm sending one email to the student or employee. What is that email ID? Your leave request has been approved by the manager, waiting for the HR approval. So I'm waiting for the HR approval. Again, in this loop, I'm starting the approval process case. Now the approval is for HR. First, I want to send the approval request to manager. Next, I need to go and send the approval request to HR. Now in the HR also, I need to go and check. Here, see, I'm having the multiple conditions. If the HR is approved, then what I want to perform. If the HR is not approved, then what I want to perform. So if you observe here in this flow, there is some lot of actions I'm performing here, guys. This is one action. This is one action. This is one action. This is action. This is action. These are action. Everything is actions. So what I can do here is I can group multiple actions together. It is used for what? It is used to group the multiple actions together. So if I go to this apply to each, if I go to this, fine. Now see, when I go and click on this condition, it is adding them some multiple steps here, guys. So what I can do here is, what I want to do here is, I want to treat this all this as one group. I want to treat this all these things as one group. I want to treat this one also. Here also the same thing will be there. Apply to each, sending the email, same thing will be there. So here also I want to treat this as one group. So if you want to treat everything as one group, you can go and add a scope here, guys. So let us say same thing will be there. Suppose think that I want to add these three steps as one group. So I want to add these three steps as one group. So go and click on add action here on the top. Let me go with the control. Go with the control. What's the control I want to add here now? Scope. So I want to group the multiple actions here now. Go and select the scope. Now see, here it is telling that add an action. So what is my requirement? I want to keep these three actions in the scope. So it is group of, scope is nothing but what? Group of actions. This is one action, this is one action, this is another action. So just to drag it to the top. Drag this one also onto the top. Drag this one also onto the top. Now see, the number of steps will be reduces. So let me go and rename the scope. What is that scope? Rename is manager, manager approval, manager approval. So when I go and click on it here in this scope, this is the scope. So in this scope, I'm adding how many steps? 3 steps. So this is for manager approval. In the same way, when I go for the condition, here also there is something called apply to each. In this apply to each, when I go for this approval, here it is adding something, guys. And again, it is going and performing some other actions. So what I can do, what I want, what is my requirement here is, I want to add these 2 steps into as one group. So what I can do, go and add one action here. What is that action I want to add here? Scope. Let me add the scope. Now in this scope, I want to keep this one. I want to move the HR approval and I want to move this condition also. Now let me rename this one as, let me rename it to HR approval. Previous one is manager approval. Now this one is HR approval request. So let's rename them. Duplicate or name is there. It is not there, right? HR approval. Oh, I think already approval is there. That's why it is not taking. Let me rename this one to HR. Now see, in this scope, I'm performing 2 actions. Now see, automatically the flow will be reduces. So the number of lines of the flow will be reduces here. So here also it will reduces. So like this, if there is a, if there is a flow where you have some lot of actions is there, then if you are confusing, then you can group some actions as one at one place. You can group them and keep it at one place. So in this case, you need to go and use what? You can go and use the scope. And finally, there is one more, do until. Now what is this do until? When to go and use this do until, guys? Let us say, let me go to the same scenario. When to do until means until it will reaches the approach, until and unless it will accept the condition, it will runs the loop, guys. Automatically it will runs the loop, it will runs the flow. So when to go and use this do until means, let me go to the my flows. Let me turn off this flow. Let me turn off this flow. Turn off all the previous flows whenever we are working this operations, guys. Why? Because already we created a lot of flows, but all the flows will work at a time. So let me go and apply to each. No, let me go to the control. And also we need to turn on it. From here we are not able to turn on this flow. First turn on the flow. Turn on. Let me go and open this flow. Now try to understand when to go and use the do until, guys. Now see, let me go and connect it to some other, or let me do one thing. Let me go and create one new automated cloud flow. Let me keep it as do until. Do until. Now see, when an item is created, let me go and select when an item is created. Trigger as when an item is created. Now try to understand, guys, what's my requirement here is, let us say one of the employees approving for the leave. One of the employees approving for the leave request. Let me remove this record. Now see, whenever the employee submits the record on leave request, the data comes here. Leave request will comes here. By default, what's the status? Submitted. By default, the status is submitted. And also, whenever the employee submits the leave request, that request will be sent to whom? Manager. So leave request means from tomorrow onwards I want to take the leave. So by the end of this today, I want to get the approval. So unfortunately, the manager is not approving. I applied the leave. It is already 1 hour. The manager is not approved. But I want to take confirmation from the manager. So maybe the manager forgot it. Maybe the manager is not at available right there. So what is my requirement here is, I need to wait for once the employee is submitting the leave request, the employee need wait for minimum 1 hour or 2 hours, whatever the time it is, case I can wait for 1 hour. Once after within 1 hour, if I'm not getting the approval request, whether the employee is approved or rejected, I want to send one email, or not email, I want to send one message to the employee in the teams. In the teams, I want to send one employee to that, I want to send one message to that manager. You have a leave request, please respond. You have a leave request, please go and respond. Like this, I need to go and send one message in the teams case. So let me go and create one flow here. So try to understand what I'm doing here. Go and select the site address as automate flows. List name, approvals, leave approval. So whenever the item is created, I want to start the approval process. I want to start the approval process. Start and wait for an approval. What is the approval type? Let me select the approval type as first to respond. Next, go and select the title. What's the title? Let me keep the description. Assign to whom? Manager. Whoever the employee is selecting as a manager, to that employee, to that manager, I want to send the approval request. Next, once after sending the approval, I want to take the condition. Go and take the condition, guys. Condition. If the outcome of the previous step, if the outcome is equals to approve, if the outcome is equals to approve, then what I want to do? I want to perform an action. What's that action? First, I want to go and update the item. Go and update the items. Where I want to update the item? In the SharePoint. Go and update the item. So which site I want to update? Power Automate flows. What is the list name? What is the list name? Leave approvals. What is that ID? So go and select the list ID, guys. Which list is submitted? Now see, go and update the status. Go and update the status to what? Approve. If the manager is approved, I want to perform this operation. So if the manager is not approved, I want to perform here also what? I want to reject it. Same thing, but I want to go and here also I want to update the item, but I want to reject here. I want to update it to what? Reject. What is the site? Power Automate is my site. Power Automate flows. What is the list name? Leave approval is the list. What? Select the ID. Now update the status to what? Reject. The manager is rejected. If the manager is approved, then go and update the item to approved. If the manager is rejected, then go and reject it. Then go and keep here what? Status to reject. Now see here, guys. Now I'm starting the flow. I'm saving the flow. I'm going to run the flow now. Your flow is ready. I'm running the flow. Test it. Now it is telling that go and add one record to test the flow is working properly or not. I'm entering one record here. Leave type casual leave. Let us take festival is the occasion. I'm going for vacation. So leaves. Let me select the leave from today. Let me today to let us set 2 days leave I am taking 28. Status by default I'm keeping the status as submitted. Whenever the employee submits, it is status is submitted. Who is the manager? Let me select the manager as user 36. Now save it. Whenever the item is created, now need to run the flow. Now the flow will run here, guys. Now the flow will run and it will wait for the approval. Now see, your flow is running. The flow is running here. Now item is created. Yes. Now I waiting for the approval request. Now see, today I am applying for the leave. I want to take the leave from tomorrow. So I need to get the approval request from the, I need to get the request from the manager, whether the manager is approved or not. So I am approving it. It is completed 1 or 2 hours. Let us say 2 hours it is completed. The manager haven't seen that. The manager is not seen the leave request. Why? Because the manager is busy some other work. So he is not going to the approvals. So I need what is my requirement here is, if the manager is not responding to the request, leave request for a couple of time, let us say 1 hour, 2 hours, or one day, you can set the time limit, whatever that is. Suppose think that for demo purpose, I can wait for 1 minute, guys. Within 1 minute, if the manager is not approved, then what I want to do here is every 10 seconds I want to send one message to the manager in the teams. So that is what my requirement now see, the manager is not responding. So if I want to respond, I can go and respond from here. I can go to this approvals, go to the approvals here. In the approvals, just go and click on refresh. Here I can see that approval request. From here I can go and submit it. I can approve it. So for now, let me go and approve. Now see, I'm approving it. Confirm. I'm approving the request. Once if it is approved, it need to change the status here to approve. And also now see, the flow is run successfully. Your flow runs successfully. If you go to here, here also the status will be updated, guys. The status need to update to what? Approved. It will take some time. Now see, the status is updated to approve. Suppose if the manager is not responding within 1 or 2 hours, then I want to send one message to that manager in the teams. When I want to send that message means after 1 hour or 2 hours. But if the manager is not responded within 1 or 2 hours, I want to send one email, one message in the Teams. So I want to send that message every 10 minutes or every 1 hour. I want to send it. It is up to you. You can send. You can set the intervals here. So that is what my requirement is. Now see, start the approval and wait for the approval. So if the manager is not responding within the time duration, let's say if the manager is not responding for 1 or 2 hours, then I want to send one email in the Teams case. So I'm going to add one new step here. I'm going to add one new step. Click on this. Go and add the parallel branching case. Already discussed about the parallel branching. What is meant by parallel branching? Whenever if you want to run the flow parallelly, so you can go and select the parallel branching. If you select the parallel branching, automatically the performance of that flow will be increases. So go and add here, add parallel branching. In this parallel branching, first I'm going to take one action, guys. The action I'm going to take here is delay. So delay, I want to go and select the action as delay case. So count means how much time you want to wait to run this. Once the record is created, directly go and send the approval. When I need to go and run this branch means once after 1 or 2 hours, 1 or 2 hours, then only I want to go and run this branch. So I am not wait for 1 or 2 hours for demo session. Let me go and keep here what 1 minute. I can wait for 1 minute, guys. Once the record is submitted, once the leave request is submitted, I will wait for one minute for manager request. If the manager is not responding, then after 1 minute, I need to go and start the. I need to go and start what here? Do until, add an action. So what is the action? Do until. I'm going to add an action. What is that action? Do until. Do until is one control. Let me go and add it. Now here you need to define the condition. For now I'm not going to define any condition here. For now I'm not going to define any condition. Directly I'm adding one action. Within this do until, this is the do until case from here to here. Within this do until I'm adding one action here. What's that action? Post a message in the Teams. I want to post a message in the Teams. Post a message in the Teams channel or a chat. Click on it. Now I want to post as what? Flowbot. Post in what? Chat with the Flowbot. Chat with the Flowbot. Now see, to whom you want to send the message. Whoever the student is selecting as a manager, to that manager I want to send one message in the Teams. So go and select the manager email guess, manager value. Whoever the student is selecting as a manager, to that manager I want to send one message in the Teams. When I want to send after 1 minute. So what is that message? What is the message I want to keep here? There is let me, there is not, there is, let me keep here. There is one approval request. There is one approval request for you. There is one approval request for you. Please respond. Please respond. So in the do until, I'm not defining any condition here. When up to what level I need to go and run this flow, I'm not defining any condition. Directly I'm posting one message in the Teams. Once after posting the message, again go and add one action case. So what is this action is? Get items. I want to get the items from the SharePoint. So go and select here what? Get items. Go and select here what? Get items. So get the items. From which list you want to get the items? Power Automate flows. List name is what? Leave approval. List name is what? Leave approval. Once after getting the items, now go here, do until. Now I want to run this flow up to here. Up to what I want to run? Until and unless the status value is equals to approve. Until and unless if the status is equals to approve, I want to run this flow. That means if the manager is not approved, I want to run every time, every 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I want to uh, go and send one email. So here let me go and add one more action again. Once after posting the message in the Teams, I want to add another action here. What's that action is? I'm going to add the delay action again. So I'm going to add what? Delay. So how much time I want to wait? I want to wait for 10 seconds. So every 10 seconds I want to send the message case. I want to send one message in the Teams. So you can change this delay time here. You can go and change this delay time up to you. For demo session, I'm keeping here 10 seconds. First, if the manager is not responding within 1 minute, go and run this flow. I want to run this flow after 1 minute. Go and in this flow, first go and check the data. If the status is equals to approve, no need to go and send the message. If the status is not equals to approve, then go and post a message in the Teams. Once after posting the message, wait for 10 seconds and then go and check the data in the SharePoint. Go and collect the data from the SharePoint and then go again check whether the request is approved or not. If it is approved, no need to go and post it. If it is not approved, again go and run the same thing. So this is the do until case. I want to send the message in the Teams to the manager up to what? Until and unless if the status is equals to approve, I want to send the message in the Teams every time. So this is what my requirement. So let me go and save it. Simple guys, nothing is there, only two steps. If the within 1 minute, if the manager is approved, go and perform this. Within 1 minute, if the manager is not approved, wait for 1 minute and then go and perform the do until. In this do until, first go and check the status is equals to approved or not. If it is not approved, then post a message. Once after post the message, wait for 10 seconds. Immediately don't send another message. Wait for 10 seconds and then go and check the data in the SharePoint list. If that is approved, no need to go and run this loop. If it is not approved, again go and post a message. Again wait for 10 minutes. Sorry, 10 seconds. So this is what the flow I want to perform here, guys. Now just go and save it. Save the flow. Now test it. Test the flow. Now let me go and create one record, guys. Now I want to test the flow to whether the flow is working properly or not. So let me remove this record. Let me enter one new record. User 36 is the manager. I'm submitting one leave request here, guys. Let me save it. Now once the record is created, now go to the flow. Now see, now the flow will run, guys. Your flow is running. Now the flow, it is waiting for the approval. Now see this delay. When this branch will start? After 1 minute, this branch will start. It will wait for 1 minute. Whether the manager is approved, this branch doesn't work. It will stop. If the manager is not approved within 1 minute, then go and send one message in the Teams. So see, it is counting here. Exactly after 1 minute, it will goes to the loop here. It will goes to the do until loop. Exactly after 1 minute. Meanwhile, let me go and log in with the Teams also. Meanwhile, let me go and log in with Teams. Exactly after 1 minute, this branch will run, guys. By default, this branch will run. It will send the approval to the manager. It is waiting for the approval request. Go to the chat. Now see, exactly after 1 minute, it is going to the loop, do until. Now I'm receiving one email here, not mail. Uh, I'm receiving one message. What's that message? There is one approval request. Please go and respond. Every 10 seconds, guys. If you see, every 10 seconds, I will get the message in the Teams. So you can change the time duration every 10 seconds. If you go and see here, again, I'm getting. So every 10 seconds, the manager will get that message in the Teams until and unless if you go and approve the leave request. So if he is not approving the leave request, he is continuously getting the message in the Teams. So when it will stops getting the message in the Teams, once the manager is approved, then only it will stops sending the messages. Now see, I'm sending the messages every 5 minutes here. So why? Because the manager is not approved. Now I'm receiving the messages here. Now let me go and approve it, guys. Let me go to the approval. Let me refresh it. go to the approval. This is the new approval I received. So I'm going to approve it. Now see, let me click on it. Let me click on approve, click on confirm. Now once if I approved, I need to stop. I need to stop getting the message in the Teams. Now see, it is approved, guys. It is approved. If you go and check in the SharePoint, it need to update. If you go and check here, approved. So this flow is confirmed. The, the manager is responding to the request. Once the manager is responding to the request, now see, it need to stop. But if you observe here, this do until is not stopping. It is running still. Even though the manager is approved, this do until is not stopped. It is continuously sending the request. It is continuously sending the messages to me in the Teams. Why? I said that when to go and start, when to stop this. If the if the status is approved, if the status is approved, if the status is approved, then I want to stop this loop. But it is not stopping here. It is continuously running. See, it is continuously getting the messages. 219 is the last message I received. See, 219 is the last, 1019 is the last message I received. So why it is not stopping sending the messages in the Teams means, what is the flaw? What is the mistake we are doing here is, let me go and click on edit, guys. Edit the flow. Now see, what is the step I added here? Get items. What is the step I added here? Get items. If you go and check, I am getting the items, okay, but here checking that status, whether the status is equals to approve or not. Now I am selecting the status value from where? I am selecting the status value. This is important, guys. When an item is created, this all these are coming from when an item is created. When an item is created, then here I am selecting the status. This is wrong. When I from where I want to select the status, I want to select the status from get items. So go to this, remove this one. Now currently it is for when an item is created, that is for the for this SharePoint. But now I want to get the data from where? When an item is get items. Now see, this is called as get items. This one is for this. So from here I want to go and get. So here also, here I need to go and set what? Status value. Select the status value. Here in this status value also, in this status value also, just go and remove this apply to each. Just go and remove this apply to each. Here also, let me add the do until. Try to understand, guys. Let me go and add the do until. Or let me do one thing. Go back. Don't save the flow. It will waste of our time. Let me edit the flow. Let me go to the old designer. Now try to understand. Now here I am getting the items. While getting the items also, there are two types of getting the items. Now see, just go and remove it. Go and remove the get items. First thing you need to do here is, I want to get the items. If you select here get items, if you select here get items, here you can see get items, there is two times. If you go and check in the information, what it is doing, get items from the SharePoint list. By default, it will go and select the items from the SharePoint list. All the items. I don't want to select all the items. Which items I want to select? Get the single item by its ID. I want to get the single item. Which item? Whichever the item is created. That item details I want to get it here. So go and select the second one, guys. Go and select what? Get a item, get a single item details. Select this one. Select the second one. Now when I select the second one, now select the address, site address as Power Automate Flows, and the list name as approval request. Now see, previously I'm not getting this ID. Previously I'm getting only these two fields. Now ID, go and select the ID here, guys. Which item is created, that item details I want to capture here. And also here also, I want to select the status value from where? Not from the created. I want to get it from where? From the get items. So if you scroll down, here, if you scroll down, here you can see get items. From this get items, I want to take the status. So select the status. Select status is equals to approve. Then I want to stop it. If the status is not equals to approve, I want to go and send the message in the Teams. Now just save it. Go to the flows. Let me remove this. Let me remove this from the SharePoint to check it. Let me go to this. And also in the Teams, let me change the message. Let me keep it as please respond to the request. Let me change it to please to the respond to the leave request. Please respond to the leave request. Now save it. I'm just changing the message here, guys. Save it and now go and test it. Previously, even the manager is approved, I'm getting the emails. I'm getting not emails, I'm getting the message in the Teams because of you are not selecting the valid item here. You are not selecting the proper get items here. Now go and enter one student details, casual leave. Let me keep some dummy data from date. Let us take the date as Thursday to today. Submitted. Who is the manager? 36. So go and save it. The item is created now. Now go to the flow. And I go to the flow. Now it will go and run the flow case. Now when I am running the flow, it will wait for the approval. Now see, it is waiting for the approval. Waiting for the approval. So this branch will start when? This branch will start after 1 minute. It will wait for 1 minute and then it will start it. So within 1 minute, if the manager is approved, it doesn't go and run this branch. When this branch will run, after within 1 minute, if the manager is not responded, then go for the do until. Now see, it will wait for 1 minute. Now if you go and check here in the approvals, if you go and check here in the approvals, I received one new approval case. So this is the new approval I received. B request type B I'm keeping here. I'm not approving it. I'm waiting for 1 minute to check whether I'm able to receive the emails or not emails, whether I'm able to receive the message in the Teams or not. Almost 1 minute completed, done. Now see, after 1 minute, immediately it will goes to the do until. It will goes for the next step. What is the next step? Do until. Now see, when I go to the Teams, it is getting one message. Please respond to the leave request. Every 10 minutes, every 10 seconds, guys. Every 10 seconds, I will go and get one message in the Teams. Now see, please respond. Please respond. Please respond. Every time I'm going to get it. So there is two mails I'm getting. Maybe previous one also is executed. That's the reason. Now I'm getting the request from this. Please respond for the request. Please respond for the request. Now what I can do, I can go and approve it, guys. I'm going and approve it. Once if I approve, I need to stop getting the emails. Now see, I'm going and approving it. Approve. Click on approve. Once it is approved, now I will stop getting the messages in the Teams. Now see, it is approved. In the SharePoint also, the record is updated to approve. If the SharePoint status is approved, then I don't want to get the mails in here. Now see, I am getting the older messages, but what's the new message I am keeping here? Please respond to the request. So I'm not getting the please respond to the request now. I'm not going to get what now? I am not getting the please respond to the, see, please respond to the request is stopped here, but the old one is getting, why? Because maybe somehow it is running the flow in the backend. So that's why it is getting here. So this is what, how to go and use the do until, guys. When to go and use the do until. Do until means this is one of the scenario. Once the employee submits the leave request, employee need to wait for some time, either 1 hour, 2 hours, or 5 hours. Within 5 hours also, if the manager is not responding, then I want to start this branch. I want to send one email, one message in the Teams for that manager. There is one leave request for you. Please go and approve it. Already it is 5 hours time is completed. So I want to send one message. Next, if the manager is seeing and if the manager is approved, then he will stop getting the messages in the Teams. If the even though if the manager is not approved, let us say every 10 minutes or every half an hour or every 1 hour, you can set it. You can set the time interval when you want to send the message in the Teams for that manager. For demo purpose, I am selecting here what I am selecting delay time. When I want to start this branch, I want to start this branch within 1 minute. After 1 minute, go and use the do until. In this do until, go and wait for the time period. Here I'm keeping 10 seconds. Once after sending the email, next mail you want to send it when? Next message. You can select 1 hour, half an hour, or 30 minutes. It is up to you. I'm selecting here 10 seconds for the demo purpose. So this is what how to go and use the do until case. So this is the functionality of the do until. This is the scenario where we need to go and use this. So these are the different types of controls are available. First one is what? Condition. Second is what? Switch. Apply to each. Scope, terminate, and do until. So in the interviews you'll get these questions: what is this apply to each, what is the scope, terminate, or when to go with the do until. So please be thorough with this. Go with this video and try to understand when to go and use which controls. Fine, let me stop here.